Our Coors Light pole winner for tomorrow night's 57th annual Federated Auto Parts 400 is Brad Keselowski. He's the driver of the number 2 Miller Lite Ford for Team Penske. And this is Brad's 7th career pole. It's his 4th pole, 2014, career high. Congratulations on that. Your first pole here at Richmond. But just talk about now, one race to go before we set the chase grid tomorrow night. Competitor that you are, I know you're going to go after that 4th win and get that number 1 seed coming out of Richmond.
Yeah, Kerry, that's exactly what we're thinking. First off, it's been a great day so far. I don't know how many races I ran at Richmond here on the Cup level, probably 8 or 9, and this is by far the best car I've had, and I feel like we have a really strong shot of winning this weekend. So I'm very, very excited about that. Everybody says they're excited, but when you sit on the pole and you're fast in practice, you got a real reason to be excited. But like you said, I'd like to get that 4th win. We got 3 wins. That's a great start to the season. That's something we can definitely hang our hat on, head into the chase. But there's 5 guys right now, all tied for first. And, I think we're all kind of about the same right now. It'd be nice to put up another win and be kind of the lead dog, so to speak. So I think we certainly have a shot at that. A lot left to go. It's just practice and qualifying here today. And we're happy with our results, but still very, very hungry. And looking forward to tonight, or tomorrow night, I should say, and keeping our eye on the prize in front of us, but then also as the next few weeks develop and unfold a shot at another championship.
Questions for Brad? Excuse me. We'll start here with Jeff and then go over to Stan.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. You've been asked about the new qualifying format a lot because obviously you're excelling in it. You have 4 poles this year and you only had 3 poles in your entire career before that. And you've always said it, you keep saying it's fast cars in your team. So I'll try to ask it a different way, I guess. How many poles do you think you could have gotten this year with your fast cars in your team under the old format?
And probably 1 or 2. You got no matter what format, you still have to be fast. But I think this format certainly puts more strategy into play. But the root of all success at the NASCAR level is always, having a great team and fast cars. That's always the root of all success at this level. You can have the best pit stops. You can have, the most horsepower, the best driver. It doesn't really matter. Those things on their own by themselves don't win races consistently and don't win poles and achieve great success. So you have to have great cars. And I think this year Penske has really caught on. We hope that will be the case for years to come. I think the Ford relationship, Jeff, has really developed, and that's a big piece of why we're excelling to levels that we've never seen before. And so, I think there's a lot of things happening all at once that you could probably point at each and every one of them in some way having a factor into our success. But the fast cars, that's always the root of all success in NASCAR.
Go ahead, Stan. Over to your right, Brad.
Thank you. Brad over here, Stan Creekmore. The start of tomorrow's race will probably be close to the weather that you've practiced with all day, but the end will be different. So what will your team have to do to be able to keep you in competition throughout the entire race?
I think, trying to understand this tire is just such a huge challenge for all of us. And that's hard to explain, to our fans and to the media because it's such a feel thing. But, the tires are literally where the rubber meets the road and where we take, 850 to 900 horsepower and try to make it go forward and then try to make it stop and change direction. So that's a big, big challenge that I don't know if it really gets truly appreciated what we ask out of a race tire. And with that said, small changes have significant differences in feel for all of us as drivers. And, each driver seems to have a specific feel that they excel at least the top drivers do. And you can have a racetrack that's your best track and with a very simple tire change eliminates the potential for your style of driving, and thus eliminates your potential for success. I think I look at this car specific to this tire. This tire, for us, at least using just one weekend as an example, is something that we hit on right away, and that fits my style. So trying to keep up with that tire, because the style will probably change again as the track transitions into night tomorrow. Trying to keep up with that will be the biggest challenge, and that's what we'll have to keep working on.
Let's go far left over here. Chris, raise your hand.
Brad, Chris Knight, GetFence.com, way over here. First pit stall is significant for any Cup race, but tomorrow is a huge race. Does it play any more significance tomorrow night?
I think, the short tracks, the first pit stall is probably bigger than anywhere else. The way they lay out, the importance of tires means that you're going to pit more here at these type of tracks than any other type of tracks. And then the really slow pit road speeds help to make that a bigger difference again. So it's pretty significant. This race almost every year comes down to a 30 or 40 lap sprint at the end, which usually entails pit stops beforehand. And if you can get that little bit of track position in that pit cycle, that could be the difference between winning and finishing second, third, or fourth.
Let's go to the press box. Question in the press box for Brad Keselowski.
Sorry about that. Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Can you talk, sorry, I'm not Fox Sports, motorsport.com. Can you talk a little bit about the Roush Yates engines and how they have played a part in your qualifying this season?
Yeah. Lisa, I think our engines have been a rock for us this year. And, I'm always hesitant to speak about engines, at least our own, because it's just kind of a one of those things you don't talk about, or it seems like something happens. I don't know what you call that. Nate Ryan's probably got a better word for it. But it seems like whenever you talk about them, that's when something bad happens. But so far this year, we've had a great year on the engine side, and Doug Yates and his team, everybody at Roush Yates, has done a great job. We're hoping that continues. There's never a guarantee of that. There are some areas that we have still to work on. We're where we want to be to have a shot at winning a championship on that front. But we'd like to be one step better to be the best out there. And certainly from a power standpoint, at least we feel like we're a step behind the Hendrick engines. But those guys are working on it really hard, and I think they have a lot of strengths that we're very proud of, and hope to showcase in the chase here in the next 10 races and even tomorrow night.
Any more questions upstairs? Let's come back downstairs. Jim Utter has a question.
Calling the relief pitcher, man.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. This kind of goes back to Jeff's question. Do you find it kind of strange or unusual that two guys who really have never been great qualifiers in their career this season are far and above leading the way with polls, you and Kevin? Or is it sort of not unexpected, given the fact that if you ask most people, they would probably say the two of you rank among the fastest cars each week this year?
Well, it's certainly notable. There's no doubt it's notable. I feel like Kevin would probably tell you the same as I would, that my cars are significantly faster this year in qualifying trim than what they ever have been. And when you combine that with this format, perhaps suiting our style a little bit better, it's kind of a double whammy. I would say Kevin and I are probably not known before the season, or were not known before the season, as having a large qualifying prowess, but this year that hasn't been the case, and we're certainly thankful for that. But I think it's more than just the format. I think it's two things happening at once. The format is certainly helpful. It certainly feels more representative of what it takes to be successful in a race week on the racetrack and a race pace than what it was in past, where it seemed to be more of a hey, just go out there and bonsai it, and if the car's good, it's good and it sticks, and if it's not, you don't. I think with this format, you have to be much more calculated. You have to think ahead a lot more, and you're rewarded for that.
Any other questions for Brad, Bob Pockris, and then JP?
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. Will you look at the lineup and see where guys who need a win are starting, and will you pay more attention to them throughout the race just because of what's on the line for them?
No, I mean, I appreciate what they're going through. We were in that situation last year, so I can respect it. But, I think you just got to run your own race at the end of the day and treat them respectfully as you hope they would to you. I mean, there could always be a situation at the end of the race where one of those guys is behind you and, it doesn't turn out well. And you just know that if that's the case, that it'll work itself back out later down the road. So they know that too.
Final question right here, JP.
JP Beauchamp, Mech Local. Brad, on your first qualifying run, you took a lap, you liked the time, you backed down on your speed and waited for the next round. At what point what's your break point, so to speak, where you realize, hey, this is good enough to back off?
Yeah, I let Paul and those guys figure that stuff out, and they certainly have, and each weekend's different, especially with different tires. This particular tire loses pace significantly on different tracks. This particular track in qualifying format takes shade at the end and picks up speed. So those variables are very difficult to navigate. I don't feel like I'm smart enough to navigate all of that while driving the race car at the same time, which is why we have crew chiefs to make those calls, and my crew chief, Paul Wolf, does a good job of that.
Any other questions? Well, Brad, congratulations on another Coors Light pole, and certainly good luck here tomorrow night at Richmond.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.